go back from seeing the film finally, and it wasn't good. It was actually not good. As an adaptation, it was actually really not good. This movie was probably okay, but yeah, as an adaptation, it was. I was really disappointed. Even though I thought I was expecting a bad movie, but it seems like that was not what I was expecting, because I'm actually really disappointed. And yeah, I just feel like it was just not good. I mean, they just didn't get it. I mean, the whole longing to Aslan's country, it wasn't in there. Even in the scenes where it was in there, there were some scenes like when I'm not sure they're talking. You know, obviously you've got to see with Reaper Chief in the beginning talking with Lucy right on the prow, which I thought was, yeah, that's good. That was a good scene. And when I saw it in advance, I posted you know, an analysis of it, and I really liked it. I thought it was really good, and it really captured the themes. But it was the only one, and I knew that. But still, I thought it would be the only one for Reaper Chief, but it was basically the only one the entire movie until they suddenly saw Aslan's country on the horizon, which I thought was completely ridiculous. Because, you know, it's such an amazing thing in the movie when they in the book. I'm sorry, in the book, when they, you know, they're getting closer and closer, but you know, it's a journey of belief. You know, they feel they're getting closer, but there's no proof. And then, you know, they think is the sun. It seems to be getting larger. And then, yeah, is it? And yeah, it is. So, you know, and then you know, the water turns sweet, and the lilies, and you know, it's such a great journey. And now suddenly it's like, you know, they've beaten the dark heart, and oh look, right, Aslan's country. That's right, we were close to Aslan's country, weren't we? Okay, let's just go. And also, yeah, I mean, it was so, you know, there were also some scenes where I thought, you know, it's in here, you know, just keep this conversation going for 2-3 lines, and you're at Aslan's country. You can just continue it, you know. And you know, in the beginning, Lucy somehow, you know, she heard they were sailing, and Caspian said, which was, I thought was actually pretty hilarious. Caspian said to Edmund and Lucy when they arrived, said, we actually don't know what's past the Lone Islands. And Lucy just somehow starts asking everybody on board the ship what they think is about. You know, first he runs off to Reaper Chief, who's singing about, somehow also about, you know, what's after the Lone Islands. And she asks him, and then she goes back down, and she goes to Edmund, and she says, what do you think is after the Lone Islands? And you know, I felt like the first 20 minutes aboard Tom Sweater, Lucy was completely obsessed with what was after the Lone Islands, because she started asking everyone. And I felt like the filmmakers thought that would be enough to set up the ending of the film. You know, just have a character really just ask everybody about it. But it was really, I'm laughing now, but I'm actually, yeah. I thought it was really, yeah, and the writing, the writing was not good either. It was not good. They just, yeah, not only did they explain everything that happened, like Grumpel said, I thought that was actually quite alright, because I heard the argument used by him, though I actually thought it would be much worse than it actually was. But, yeah, I thought it was actually, just the way they explained the moral lessons in this movie was quite terrible. I mean, they were in Language and Water and Prince Caspian, but they were subtle. But yeah, they weren't subtle here. I mean, basically every time a character was about to be tempted, they said, oh, yeah, alright, temptation. And then he was tempted, and then, he or she was tempted, and then they said, right now you're being tempted. And then when the temptation was over, they always just said, oh yeah, remember when you were being tempted? It was just like this, okay, before it happens, they already say it's going to happen, and you know, with the green mist, and then it happens, and it's so obviously obvious. oh, it's so obvious. And then they then after they say yeah, you know, after you see the temptation, they always have to talk about it with someone. Like, oh yeah, I was being tempted right there. Did you see it? And then to the audience, you didn't miss it, did you, audience? It was, yeah, you didn't miss my big temptation moment, because that was the only character arc I'm going to have in this film. It was, oh, yeah, but you know, there were good things. I like, for example, I liked a lot of the cinematography. You know, especially the helicopter shots and stuff of the ship. I did not really like the close up because I felt like the camera was up too close like this every time a character was talking, instead of, you know, normally a camera has a bit more distance. But and then also when they were filming something, it was always like the camera was, you know, an action scene or something. A good example is the one with the dragon the dragon attacking on attacking the Dawn Treader. It's Eustace, who actually just turned into a dragon and has no idea what he's doing, which I thought was actually quite a good idea. But you know, the camera is always, when something happens, it's like, and then something happens right there, and it just turns instead of, you know, opening a new shot. So it's like just doing that all the time, which doesn't really work to me. I mean, and it's such a it's completely different with the Lion Witch Immortal and Prince Caspian, because there the camera was always very steady, and you know, it was moving, but it was always moving on a straight line, and it was very steady and fluently. But I felt like almost every shot in this film was done with a hand camera, you know, just like that. So it was always moving a little bit, or you know, just doing that all the time, which I thought was very frustrating. I don't like that. I think the fluency, which was in the previous films, was actually way better. So yeah, I think that was not that good, but the helicopter shot were nice, and you know, the look of the film was good too. I enjoyed that part. But also they just missed such important things, you know, just things that were really essential. Stuff like the transformation of Reepicheep, for example. Just it's just the transformation of Reepicheep. What am I saying? I mean the transformation of Eustace, obviously. Yeah, I mean the transformation of Eustace from a dragon to a boy again. I felt like we were worried that it would look like he earned it, but to me it was even worse than that. I felt like, you know, he was a dragon and he ran from the fight, so it's not like he earned anything. He ran, and you know, he had the sword, and I understand he was in pain, but hell, just it was almost eaten by the sea serpent, but still he ran. And then Aslan somehow, to me it felt like Aslan realized from, oh yeah, that's right, all the others are aboard the Dawn Treader too, I have to save them somehow, because I put them in enormous danger without helping them at all. So now Eustace, because he left and he ran, seems to be the only chance the others got, so I just have to change him back. I don't think it had anything to do with Eustace. It just was a good moment in the story for him to change back, because he could save all the others. And it had nothing to do with the character himself, which is really, really, really disappointing, because it was even worse than when he had earned it by fighting the sea. At least it would be a character arc for him. It would be a moment for him. Now it was just like, oh yes, that's right, we have to save him now. So what character can do that the best? Well, Eustace maybe, because he's not there. He's the one who ran off and is lying on the beach. So yeah, that was really disappointing too, and then just the whole feeling was gone to me. The whole feeling of the Dawn Treader, just, you know, the urge to sail east. Ah, you know, with Reepicheep has this amazing quotes. I don't know them all inside out. Grandpa does. Watch his 2 videos about it. He gives some great examples. But there's one that I love, how he tells that he will go to the world's end, and he will first he will sail with the Dawn Treader as long as the Dawn Treader sails east, and when the Dawn Treader doesn't sail east anymore, he'll take his coracle and sail east with that, and if that sinks, he'll swim east. and when his body doesn't work anymore, and when he's completely tired, he will sink, but his nose will be aimed at the east. He will look to the horizon while he dies. I mean, that's powerful. That's amazing stuff. That was not in the film. In the film, he just says, "Yeah, we have nothing is non-belief," which I think is beautiful and does capture it, but that's all. And then suddenly, "Oh yeah, that's right, there's Aslan's Country. Oh, Reap Cheap, you like it, don't you? Oh yeah, I'll mention that in this film. Oh yeah, I do. Let's go." I was like, it didn't work. It didn't work. And I'm just, when I left, I know I was laughing, but I'm very emotional right now, actually, because when I got home, I felt like crying. I felt like I was, they just ruined one of the most beautiful stories I've ever heard, and they ruined it. I was like, I was getting all emotional. Yeah, and just because, also, now everybody who doesn't read books, which is, sorry, but most people I know have seen the movies but don't know, haven't read the books, they all remember this for this lame, mediocre film, while it is one of the most beautiful stories in the world. It's one of those stories that I'll never forget. It's amazing, and they just ruined it for everybody, which I thought was very, very. I just it was so disappointing, so disappointing. It was really yeah. Well, I think somehow people think that people seem to enjoy it better the first time. While I was watching it, actually, I was thinking, well, actually, this is okay. It's okay. But then when we got to when the film got to Aslan's Country, I don't Aslan's Country. What am I saying? Amanda's Island. I just somehow I thought, well, actually, it's not okay at all. I mean, this just isn't good. I don't know why I thought it was actually okay before that. Maybe I just wanted it to be okay, but I just thought, well, this isn't good, and I was actually quite bored during some scenes, which is strange because it actually was quite fast paced. And I actually with I didn't have any problems with the pacing. I thought I would, but I didn't. I thought it. I heard it went really, really, really fast, and it actually only went quite fast. So I thought it would go way faster, but it wasn't really. It didn't capture the spirit of the book. It actually, to me, it felt like they just raped the book and then threw it out on the street for everyone to see, and it was just terrible. Yeah, and I hope I enjoy it better next time I see it. I hope I do. Really, I hope it's actually better, but I don't think I will. Such a disappointment. Such a missed opportunity. I don't really think I have anything to say. I'll analyze it better in some of my next videos, probably after I've seen it a second time. I was so hoping for a good film. Yeah, that's a real disappointment. Oh, such a missed opportunity. But I do still hope they make Silverchair. After all, I mean, this movie wasn't good, but hell, it was a. They didn't do it good. They did an awful job adapting it, but it was a hard job adapting it. Silverchair should be way easier. This quest, just go find someone and bring him back to Narnia, which isn't that hard. It has some good scenes, and it's well structured for a movie. It has a straight storyline. It should work quite well, actually. So I guess that's it. I'm very sorry, people, but I didn't really like it. As a movie, it may have been okay, but as an adaptation, it was just not good. It was the opposite of what it should have been. Big disappointment.